Let us know how useful this podcast is to you in the comment, please. So, importance of asking the right questions. If you do not ask the right questions, you do not get the right answers. A question asked in the right way often points to its own answer. Edward Hornet. So, why is asking the right questions important? Asking the right questions can help you find the information you seek. It is essential to ask specific questions as you likely want a specific answer. Asking the right questions can unlock opportunities you didn't even realize existed and take your career to new heights. Whether you are an entrepreneur building a business or an employee looking for ways to grow and advance your career, questions are very powerful. It's a useful tool. The open line of communication give us information, improve interactions, facilitate analysis and diagnostic of a situation. Allows us to propose our own ideas, help to understand the priorities of others, stimulate motivation to learn, motivate creativity and more importantly, scientific research. In general, people and societies know what they do and some are aware of how things are done, but many of them ignore why they do what they do. That in the end has an impact on the outcome. So, asking question is so critical, asking right question. So, how to ask the right question? So, we are going to talk about 5 steps in which you can ask the right questions. Number 1, think about what you want to know. Think about what you hope to learn. More specific question can often elicit more specific answers. You can also determine whether your query will likely result in a fact-based answer or someone else's opinion in advance. For instance, when applying for a job, you might want to understand how well your work ethics align with the organization's mission. You might ask the interviewer for their perspective on the company. This is more personalized answer helps determine whether you would be a good fit for the role or no. Second, develop an open-ended question. Create an open-ended question related to what you know. Open-ended questions refer to any question that a person may not answer with a simple yes or no. Also, open-ended questions may help the person you have questioned to or feel more comfortable as you do not limit their choice of answers. Find the right person. Choosing the right person to answer your question. This right person depends on what you hope to learn. Reach out to the right person and ask them if they would be available and willing to answer some questions you have. It can also be beneficial to ask someone you might not normally ask to understand all perspectives. Number 4, allow the person to answer. It is important to choose the right time to ask questions. Try to reserve time for the conversation to ensure you have enough time to ask questions without rushing. Allow the person plenty of time to answer your question. While you may have good intentions, an interruption may cause the person to think you do not value their answers. Ask follow-up questions. That is number 5. Ask follow-up questions to learn more about the situation. However, it is important to be friendly and choose questions that inspire additional conversation rather than causing the person to become defensive. Number 6, thank the person. It's not how to ask the right question, but it's a ethics of the conversation. Thank the person for the time and response. Ensure they understand how much you appreciate their help. Expressing your gratitude can make it easier to ask for their help if you require it again. So, these are the ways of asking the right questions, but you should also understand the category of questions. So, now in this section, we'll talk about some question categories. Number 1, closed questions. Closed questions have 2 possible answers, very simple, depending on how you phrase it. Yes or no, true or false. Number 2, open question. Open questions are opposite of closed question. In this they felicitate lengthier, more thoughtful answers and discussion among group. So, open questions are the heart of discussion. Funnel questions. Unlike other type, funnel questions are always a series of questions. Their sequence mimics a funnel structure. They start broadly and then they might come back to other smaller aspect of things which you are discussing. Basically, it starts with an open question coming to a stage of closed question. Leading questions. Leading questions encourage listener to provide a specific response. Often these questions are phrased in such a way that you would not have any other option but only to toe the line of what the question have been asked for. it's sort of a trap, but yeah, it's a category of the question. Recall and process question. While these are two types of question, they both relate to gauging the listener's knowledge. A recall question asks the listener to recall a specific fact, such as what is my company's mission statement. A process question allows the speaker to evaluate the listener's language in more detail. Divergent questions. Divergent questions have no right or wrong answers, but rather encourage open discussion. Probing questions. Probing questions are follow-up responses to learners' answer to previous questions. Probing questions help speaker understand listeners' perspective, decipher the meaning, and encourage more in-depth reasoning. Comparison question. Comparison questions are higher order questions that ask listener to compare two things, such as object, people, ideas, stories, or theories. They require a thorough understanding of the learning material and ability to identify and describe similarities and differences. So these were something about, like, some facts about why it's important to ask the right questions, what are categories of questions, how you can phrase your questions. I hope this has helped you. Thank you. Tune and subscribe us.